Alright, it's time to take a look at the T-90A, which I believe might be the most modern vehicle that we have received in the game so far. Now, the T-90A has a 125mm main cannon, 60km/h top speed, 4km/h reverse. That's the worst part of the vehicle, the reverse speed. It weighs 47 tons, 3 crew member, average penetration 550mm. Reload time is 7.1 seconds, and the overall protection is fairly decent. Now, the main differences between the T-80U and the T-90A is in the armor and in the ammo and in the reload. The T-90A does have slightly longer reload, slightly better armor, slightly better protection, and it does have much better ammo. This vehicle does get tandem gems, and I believe it does get a little bit better APFS-DS ammo. That would pretty much be the main difference. And of course, the T-90A is a little bit slower and it doesn't have the same reverse speed as the T-80U, which I would say the reverse speed is the largest difference between the two vehicles. But let me go and let me show you the ammo for the T-90A. Now, the vehicle does get a variety of ammunition that you can choose from. I do like that they give you a bunch of ammo to pretty much pick from. Good upgrade is the ATGM. You do get a tandem ATGM, which I will show you the penetration once the game decides to load here. I think it's like 800mm of penetration, although could be more, but in general it does have good penetration, and that missile is actually quite decent. So you do get heat-based shells, 550mm penetration. You do get this HETF shell, which is quite interesting to see this on a main battle tank. Means that you can pretty much destroy aircraft with it, and you can overpressure stuff with it. I think this is the first vehicle that does get this as a main battle tank, which is pretty interesting. You do get 2 APFS-DS shells, 850mm penetration with the tandem ATGM, which is my secondary shell type, secondary ammo type, and I use this APFS-DS 580mm of penetration, which equals the penetration of the M60A MBT, which is a tier 9 vehicle, by the way. There's a tier 9 vehicle that has the same amount of penetration as a tier 11. That's pretty funny. Anyway, let's take the T-90A for a little ride and let's see how it will perform. Now, the T-90A's main drawback, and I would say the main issue with the vehicle, is the reverse speed. You are definitely not going to be able to reverse back into safety if the vehicle is exposed too much. Now, obviously the gun depression is not that great, although it is sufficient for the most part, depending on where you position the vehicle. You can't really do the same hull down that you can do with the Leopard or that you can do with the STRV and some other main battle tanks. But you can do stuff like this that I'm doing right now, and pretty much it works just fine. But if you want to reverse back to safety, yeah, that's where things get a little bit tricky with the T-90A. If you position yourself properly, you can still reverse out to safety, but it is still a painful process to crawl backwards with 4 or 5 km/h. And as I mentioned before, if the vehicle had at least 7 km/h, it would be a little bit more acceptable. But unfortunately, it doesn't have that. And this is probably the slowest main battle tank in reverse, which I would say could potentially be a huge issue with the vehicle itself. And I've been wondering this for a while, but why was this vehicle designed not to have a good reverse speed? Because, you know, reversing back is actually sometimes, and not sometimes, but in most cases, is pretty much the safest thing to do, because if you attempt to roll the vehicle around, you expose the side armor and the rear armor, which is just bad news, because the ammo the autoloader, the ammo on this vehicle is pretty much below the turret, positioned in the same, well, kind of in the same way as the T-72 or T-80, and any shell that pretty much comes through the lower plate and any shell that comes through the side, it will connect with the ammo and it will pretty much send the turret flying in the air. This is a thing that it's kind of a problem with these vehicles, because it means that you really have to hide the lower plate. If the lower plate is visible, you can expect a PFSDS shell or missile planted in the lower plate, and you can expect the turret to start circling around the moon. But if you get a good tactical position like I did right now, then it's honestly not a problem at all. The vehicle, I would say, from all the high tier vehicles, the T-base series vehicles feels like it's most difficult to use, primarily because of the lack of reverse speed. This vehicle would be very, very good if it had some decent reverse, but unfortunately it doesn't get that.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Well, at least it doesn't get that for now, that is. Would be pretty funny if this vehicle has like a April Fool's event where it gets like 50 km/h reverse. Would be pretty funny. It would feel like a totally different vehicle, and I would like it probably. Well, I mean, I do like the vehicle, but the reverse speed is the most uncomfortable thing about the T-90A. However, the vehicle visually does look very nice. I mean, the T-90 series, to me at least, is one of the prettiest vehicles to look at. I'm thinking if I should go and slap a camouflage on it. That would be pretty funny. Well, this looks like a decent victory. At least I'm getting some... at least with this tank I actually got some decent bells. With the T-80 I wasn't that lucky, but with the T-90, yeah, works, I would say, a little bit better. And I'm kind of confused why the T-80U is the primary vehicle of the platoon when the T-90 should actually be the better vehicle of the platoon. I would say the T-90 is more suitable to be the leading vehicle of the platoon. Although maybe it's because of the reverse speed, maybe that's the thing, I don't know. In any case, that was the first battle, and let's go and play the second one. So, as I mentioned before, the speed is it's definitely not as fast as the T-80, which is fine. It is still fast enough actually, so you can easily go and reach certain tactical positions. Once you get to a certain tactical position, you can pretty much take advantage of the turret. The turret on this thing is, I would say, the toughest part of the vehicle. Very, very tough to go through the turret armor on the T-80, on the T-90, and the turret can definitely bounce a lot of shells. However, as I usually say, and pretty much it's the truth really, in top tier you should not rely on armor. Now, having the turret exposed is fine with the T-90. It's pretty much the same thing I do with the Merkava and with a couple other vehicles. The turret can take hits, and definitely a much lower chance for the vehicle to get destroyed if it's only having its turret exposed. So this is pretty much the way to play the T-90. You can technically play the vehicle a little bit more aggressively and rush forward, but as we have all seen, Rushing in top tier is never a good idea. Top tier feels campy because it is campy. It is the reason why I personally enjoy tier 8, 7 and 6 the most, because in the lower tiers you can actually play the vehicle much freely without having to worry about a tandem ATGM being planted right into your ammo. Top tier is campy, and it's just how it is. That's just how top tier works. Where did that shell even go? Now the accuracy of this main cannon is a little bit weird, I would say. Sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it doesn't, but it doesn't matter. If you're using tandem ATGMs, it will fly in the exact pixel where you point the missile at. So the tandem ATGM is decent on this vehicle. It's usable, it's good. Very good overall penetration, and obviously it will do quite a lot of damage. It's kind of my alternative to high explosive. I mean, I like ATGMs. My main vehicles do have ATGMs. I primarily like to use ATGM boxes. They just seem to work the best when it comes to top tier, I mean, missiles. Not really a surprising factor that missiles are pretty much the best weapon type that you can have in top tier. It's not called anti-tank guided missile for no reason. It's anti-tank, so it's designed to disable tanks. I would also say the overall, while the maneuverability and speed is not the fastest, it's not like the T-80, it is still a very maneuverable vehicle, and it's still going to do a pretty good job at being speedy. Obviously, with these vehicles you don't want to expose side armor, because if your side armor is exposed, the vehicle will probably be ammo racked, and you definitely don't want that. But in any case, tell me what you think about the T-90 and tell me what you think about the platoon in general. Overall, personally, I did enjoy it quite a bit. I would say the vehicles are definitely decent, and I had quite a lot of fun using them. And well, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe. And as always, I'll see you next time.